Tom and Jack for Cultaholic. Who did you get in the sweepstakes, Jack?
Russia, Tom. Russia.
Nice. How are you feeling about Russia winning it?
If it was given, rather than given to the team that is best at football, but to the team with the largest area in terms of land, I'm proposing a rule change, is what I'm saying. I'm proposing a rule change.
Fingers crossed for you. No football talk, because we're not here to talk about football. We're here to talk about that wrestling news. A former WWE star has announced a sudden retirement. Future plans for a controversial Raw star have been revealed. And some huge title matches have been added to NXT TakeOver in your house this Sunday. We'll talk about them in a bit. So this came out of the blue yesterday. We have a very sudden retirement from somebody who just the other week was a bit of a talking point in the industry. Who are we talking about, Jack?
Yeah, we're talking about Lio Rush, who obviously turned up as the Joker in AEW's Double or Nothing Casino Battle Royale and got a nice reception. Everybody was like, oh, it's Lio Rush, nice to see him. He didn't win the match, but he did some impressive stuff. He got a few feature moments in the match. But yeah, he's announced on Instagram that he is intending to retire from professional wrestling at only the age of 26 as well.
He separated his AC during that Double or Nothing appearance, which I had no idea about. You certainly, you watch him on the night and he was a house of fire, and obviously something went a bit wrong maybe during the elimination or what have you, and during that time away, as he explains on his Instagram, he got to thinking about things. I'll give you the last part of his Instagram post. He says, since the injury, it's given me time to think about what I want in life, what I want for my wife and my kids, and what's going to make me happy as far as my mental health is concerned. The timing of this injury has forced me to stop and reevaluate, and ultimately it has resulted in making the decision to retire from professional wrestling. Thank you to all the fans who fought it out with me for the past 7 years and for the people in my corner. It is time to get off and do what truly makes me happy. Due to contractual obligations with New Japan Pro Wrestling, I'll be making final appearances once I am healed. But for now, thank you all from the bottom of my heart, and I'll see you all soon. Now, Tony Khan has commented on this because it certainly looked as if he was going to be part of AEW going forward. He even says in this Instagram post that he was close to signing and becoming All Elite. What did Tony Khan say about this sudden retirement, Jack?
He issued a statement saying, Lio Rush reached out to me today and he shared that he'd planned to announce his retirement from pro wrestling tonight. While this news was unexpected, I'm glad he's made a choice that he's confident will make him and his family happy. So yeah, he goes on to say, Lio is a great talent and I enjoyed briefly working with him and I absolutely wish him the best. So that's from Tony there. Big
Tony giving some love to Lio Rush. He'd have been such a good fit, I believe, in AEW.
Yeah, I do as well. I also think, I mean, he's obviously still very young and seems to do other stuff. Obviously, he was interested in doing music and things like that, so he might well stay in the public eye. And I believe he's also retired once before, but again, that doesn't really tell us anything going forward. So yeah, it's a shame. But if that's what he feels will make him happy, then who am I to tell him to stay in wrestling, you know?
If he never does anything in wrestling again, his fingerprints will very much be over it because he's done all the motion capture for 2K22.
Yes.
So he'll be there in spirit every time we pick up a video game controller. So best of wishes to Lio Rush. Let's move over to Monday Night Raw, which was a slightly less hot mess than it normally is from all concerned. A very peculiar final feature.
The spooky doll. Yes, we did have the spooky doll.
Spooky doll shenanigans aside, happier for them because the numbers back up. It was an awful number they did on the 31st of May. They had their lowest numbers for Raw ever, and it was back at an average of 1.64, which in other times would have been panic stations. But in the state of things are now, that's a sigh of relief being breathed from WWE. PW Insider give us some details following Raw, and in particular the altercation that we saw between Elias and Jackson Riker. So we had Elias playing the guitar, Riker attacking him from behind. Huge pop from the Thunderdome faithful. Crowd cheered.wav running wild when Elias was doing his thing. PW Insider have said, after their altercation on Monday Night Raw last night, we have been asked whether Elias or Jackson Riker have been flipped to a babyface role, because we're not sure. WWE sources indicate to PW Insider the plan is going forward, Riker will be on the babyface side of the roster.
Now, were it not for that big Thunderdome pop,
Yeah,
I
massive.
would be very surprised at this, because the Thunderdome did cheer for Riker very loud. They turned the volume up on that one. But if it hadn't been for that, I would have if I was just using the context clues of the story before us, I would have no idea who was the heel and who was the face here. So I'm not surprised the PW Insider reached out, because I feel like we've missed a beat or two in this story. I feel like Elias and Riker had a bit of an argument, and then Elias turned up the next week and went, "I'm done. He's satanic. He's weird. I need to escape for my own sanity." Which seems to also imply that Riker would be the heel, but then maybe Elias is lying to us, I suppose. I'm a little bit confused, Tom.
Well, they've kind of planted stuff like the seeds like this over the last few months with they had Riker kind of playing a bit dumb in the corner of Elias, kind of miscommunication leading to him getting involved when he shouldn't and stuff like that. So they kind of set the table for this a while ago, and I think they were kind of hoping that they would, like, Riker may get some sort of sympathetic love from a crowd. But the thing is, Riker's quite a controversial figure within the behind the scenes of WWE, and we talked all about it last year. This isn't a political discussion either way, so I'm not even going to get into it. All I know is that there were things that Jackson Riker put that made quite a few other people at the show feel uncomfortable. It led to the Forgotten Sons being taken off TV, consequently resulting in Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler being let go from the company. And you're going to take Jackson Riker on the road and ask fans to cheer for him. Okay. Well, I wish you luck, and I you know what? I'd always rather be happy than right. Let's see how that pans out. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work, because I feel as though maybe we'll get WWE might strike it lucky at first, because maybe we'll get a situation like in AEW where the fans are just so happy to have live wrestling back that they'll do whatever WWE want them to. They'll cheer who they want to cheer. They'll boo who they want to boo. Who they being the promotion want them to boo. So I think we'll just have to wait and see, to be honest.
We'll see what happens.
I think one of the Forgotten Sons was a Cutler. He was actually released due to breaching COVID protocol, I think.
Right, okay, that's fair enough.
But definitely, but Riker definitely led to the breakup of the Forgotten Sons on TV, which certainly wouldn't have helped his case later on. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good shout. So we'll see what happens when live shows come back. Talking of which, NWA on Power last night announcing 2 big live shows for August. One of them led to the debut, or has led to the debut, of a former WWE star, a former WWE champion. Who are we talking about, Jack?
We're talking about none other than Mickie James, who honestly, I thought, somewhere in my head, I thought she'd already appeared on NWA Power, but no, not at all. So this was a very nice surprise to hear that she made her debut on Power. Alongside Billy Corgan himself, the man in charge, to announce an all-women's NWA show in August in St. Louis, Missouri. They're heading to, apparently, so I'm right in saying they're heading to St. Louis for 2 pay-per-views in August, but one of them is going to be this all-women's show, Tom.
Yes, it's going to be executively produced by Mickie James. So she's been brought in to actually not just be like a member of the roster, but she's there to put this whole thing together. And you can tell from this the opening of Power last night, she's champing at the bit to get into it, and I'm really up for seeing it. So this is part of 2 pay-per-views that NWA are running at the end of August. The first one is all women's pay-per-view, which is set to really make a difference. The second one is going to be August 29th, and it's NWA 73. It's the anniversary show of the National Wrestling Alliance. But the coolest part of this is the location. It's coming out of the Chase Ballroom, what Billy Corgan describes as the emotional home of the National Wrestling Alliance. You know, fans of a certain fine vintage will remember wrestling at the Chase, which was a big part of the NWA scene. So to be back there, and you could even tell in the way that Billy was talking about it, this is really exciting. They didn't say whether it would contain fans or not. We can assume that by August it's going to have fans in it, and I'm so happy, Jack, to see NWA Power back up and running proper. Like it is a diamond within your weekly wrestling schedule that you must check out if you don't already.
I saw, and I understand it's all just part of a bigger story going forwards, but I saw that our boy Trevor Murdoch didn't manage to win it was very disappointing, very distraught. But it doesn't seem like the story's over yet, Tom.
No, not at all. And it was a really fun match that they had. It was a great pay-per-view overall. There's a sleeper of a match on that show between Fred Rosser and JTG that you must check that out as well. There's some good stuff coming out of NWA right now. But right now our attention's turned to this Sunday, NXT TakeOver in your house. Proof that WWE can do nostalgia right. Don't take that SmackDown throwback to be anything to go by. Like, this is a company, I put this on Twitter, this is a company that on Mondays make Big Macs and on Tuesdays make Wagyu beef.
Yeah.
I can't get over how the difference it is, and the way that we're building to In Your House. I'm up for it. It was announced 2 title matches, well, technically 3 title matches were announced for the pay-per-view last night. I'll tell you what I mean in a moment. But first of all, we're going to have a returning belt. I'm up for this. We talked about this a few weeks ago on the news. It's happening. Cameron Grimes will face LA Knight in a ladder match to determine who is going to take the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase's legacy going forward. And above the ring will be the now revived $1 Million Championship. It was on the telly last night, Jack. Oh, it felt good to see it.
Yeah, I'm very excited. No, I'm never. This might sound a bit controversial, but maybe I'm just slightly too young. But I've never really been a huge fan of the $1 Million Championship as a concept. But but if anybody's going to carry it through and make it entertaining and stuff, Cameron Grimes is the man to at least be part of this storyline, whether or not he wins it. LA Knight's great on the mic as well. And Ted DiBiase's involved, so what more can you want?
Exactly. They did a great Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous vignettes last night on NXT, where they had LA Knight showing off his palatial home and just being an arse. And you had Cameron Grimes in a home that he doesn't know how to spend this money, but it's this ridiculously big home. And there's a bit where you show him talking about how great it is to be smoking big cigars and drinking whiskey, and he's coughing and his eyes are watering because he hates. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So a ladder match between Grimes and LA Knight, which I think is going to, if it hasn't done so already, it'll tip Grimes over the edge as one of the top baby faces in NXT right now. It's going to be a night. 2 belts on the line in the same match. It's on Sunday as well, isn't that right, Jack?
Yes, we're going to have both the North American Championship and the tag team titles on the men's tag team titles on the line in the same match, as Bronson Reed and MSK defend all of their belts together in a 6-man tag against Legado del Fantasma, which, if previous matches between these sort of guys are anything to go by, should be very fast and furious, Tom.
It's going to be amazing. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. The whole night actually looks like a good show. Like those 2 matches, along with Mercedes Martinez and Xia Li. We've got Raquel Gonzalez putting the women's title on the line against Ember Moon. And that 5-way, Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne, Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole, all challenging Karrion Kross.
I would love for maybe a surprise little winner in that main event, but I feel like this is going to be an excuse to have Karrion Kross look like an absolute beast, which is good as well. I mean, I can't complain too much.
Stack all 4 of them. Screw you, Roman. Stack all 4 of them. Predictions from us lads at Cultaholic on the YouTube channel for this one very, very soon. Is that later today or later in the week? I
believe that's later today, but don't take my word for it. But I think
take
it might be.
Take his word for it. Yeah. Definitely take his word for it. And who knows, maybe some more news later. Find out in a bit. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.